It's happening everywhere. I mean, that was 4 years ago. And you look at the numbers now, it's 275 people a day are dying of drug overdose in this country.
This is Dean O'Gorman. O'Gorman lost his son due to an overdose in April of 2017. He did not know his son was using the drug that ultimately took his life.
It was my wake-up call. How did I miss this? What did I do? That kind of stuff. Your mind starts racing.
O'Gorman is just one of many across the U.S. who has been impacted by the opioid crisis. New data released by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention show that over 100,000 deaths occurred due to overdoses across the United States last year. This being the first time the country hit a number that high, with opioids being the driving force behind nearly 2/3 of these deaths. This is a jump from 49% in 2019. Tompkins County also saw a rise in opioid overdoses this past year, with 17 deaths, as opposed to 10 the year before. Brad Walworth from Cayuga Addiction Recovery Services said their opioid treatment program exceeded its initial capacity for those seeking help.
We were able to get the opioid treatment program off the ground in January, and it was growing, and we were initially capped at 50 people. Right now we've got over 100 in the program, 110 I believe, 110 to 120.
The COVID-19 pandemic has also led to an increase in those currently seeking treatment.
Early on in COVID, a lot of people disengaged from services, and throughout New York State, you saw overdose deaths really surging. Now that's gotten much more under control because, again, people are able to engage with the services again in person. For some people, they need that in-person treatment service.
In neighboring Cortland County, the most recent New York State data shows 8 overdose deaths in 2020, in addition to 14 opioid-related hospitalizations. The crisis can also be traced to the highest office in New York State, the governor.
This is personal to me.
6 years ago, Hochul's nephew, Michael, died due to an opioid overdose from fentanyl. After sharing her story, the governor went on to sign 5 pieces of legislation to help tackle the crisis, which include decriminalizing the possession of opioid antagonists and hypodermic syringes, establishing a medicated-assisted treatment program for those incarcerated with substance abuse, creating an online directory for opioid antagonist distributors, and expanding the number of crimes eligible for those dealing with substance abuse to be sentenced to treatment instead of jail.
Life happens, my friends. There's no reason to point fingers or to blame or to find a cause. We just deal with what we're dealing with right here and right now.
We need to keep moving forward, and we need as a society to stop the judgment and realize that people are dying and we're not the judge and juries.
The judgment O'Gorman is referring to is the stigma surrounding those seeking help who are suffering from addiction. The stigma can range from those in the public to those in the medical field. This, he says, can lead to people being hesitant to get the help they need.
Stigma is the number one killer. It is in the biggest reason why America is falling and failing in its response to an opioid epidemic.
This is also personal for O'Gorman, as the stigma caused those who were with his son the night he overdosed to deny drugs were involved. O'Gorman said this caused Narcan to not be given to his son due to poor training from the officer. Since then, O'Gorman has been working to help the community get Narcan training.
Narcan, but can come in kits like these, life-saving, very small, easy to use, quick to be trained, doesn't cost anybody any money to get a kit and carry a kit.
Now, Walworth says there's a few different ideas when it comes to tackling the opioid crisis, including increasing the amount of affordable housing.
Tompkins County has supportive living for men and women, but it doesn't have any halfway houses. We need more housing services, we need more transportation.
Back over in Cortland County, O'Gorman said he's been waiting for the county to create a syringe exchange program, an initiative to help people get and dispose of syringes safely.
Syringe exchange alone has 30 years of data to support it. Okay? Every county around Cortland County has a syringe exchange program. Why doesn't ours?
Other than fighting it from the policy side, O'Gorman is also helping those who lost someone due to their crisis through his organization 607-315 Healing Hearts, a grief group for parents. During this time of the year, O'Gorman works with those in the area to create an overdose remembrance tree to remember those who died from an overdose in a single year. This year, the tree holds 80 angel ornaments dedicated to those in Cortland County and other towns, such as Syracuse and Ithaca. O'Gorman said parents talking about the issue is a way of healing for them.
And the more that we share our stories, the more that people realize, holy cow, I know so many people that have been affected by this. Even if somebody themselves directly was not affected in their family, I guarantee you, one of their close friends, their family has been affected by it. There is a connection to all of us, no matter how we want to look at this.
When do you think this crisis will either reduce or even maybe at some point come to an end compared to where it is right now?
I'd love to have that magic number and snap my fingers and say, hey, it's over. All right, let's be real. Drugs have been here since the times of the Egyptians, which when we call it a crisis, it's because of the deaths. What we need to do is we need to find a way to start saving lives that actually saves lives. To answer your question, there's no magic number. There's a lot of different avenues and a lot of different things to look at. But the main thing is if we're over here and over here and over here and over here, and we're doing all this different stuff, guess what? We're going to keep having the same problem because we're not actually fixing things.
For ICTV Reports, I'm Jordan Broking.